All right, hello Americans, Patriots. Thank you for joining me again. Let's see. Just gonna pan over here real quick. We are in yet again another undisclosed location, and yeah, I'm not big into getting out in the sun, so I was only out there for a minute. Decided to come back to the car and get a little reading in. You'd think that somebody who's gotten away for a couple of days could get some reading in and catch up on some stuff, and it's been challenging. Bill Bonner is one of the people I like to read. I'm not going to read the whole article, but he gets down to a spot here, and I'm going to share this with you. Looking back a few weeks, we wondered, what was all the election brouhaha about? What difference did it make who was elected? We forecast that it would make none. As to the basics, we were right. Nothing much has changed. And again, as I pointed out today, let me adjust this. As I pointed out today, this morning, record number of executive orders. So I guess in some ways I would engage in a conversation with Bill about, well, I think there are some changes taking place, and before long, a few little pieces of snow start to fall off the mountain. Next thing you know, we're succumb to an avalanche of a loss of liberties. But just the same, I hear what he's saying. Nothing much has changed. War? Question mark. If anything, the Biden bunch is likely to make a bigger mess of things than the Trump gang. And remember, Bill neither likes nor hates any of them being those making policy decisions. He believes they're all a bunch of lying, cheating, treasonous scallywags. And I think there's a lot of evidence to agree with him. Back to the article. To his everlasting credit, so here's some credit, President Donald J. Trump, my emphasis, was the first American president in nearly 50 years not to start a new war. Can we say that one more time? For everybody that wants to tell you what a POS, and I'm not going to say it out of respect, but everybody that wants to tell you what a horrible, unprofessional POS our president Donald Trump was, on one thing and one thing alone, he destroys pretty much everybody else that has held that position. I'll say it again. To his everlasting credit, President Donald J. Trump, emphasis mine, was the first American president in nearly 50 years not to start a new war. But Biden has already signaled that he won't cancel Trump's sanctions, that Russia and China will continue to be regarded as adversaries, and that those in the military-industrial deep state complex can begin building new vacation homes. Let me read that part again for those of you who may get this. I realize that the Patriots are going to hear this and get it, but share it with somebody who doesn't necessarily believe. Share it with that person who says, oh, deep state, yeah, right, like that's even real. Come on, you conspiracy theorists. Let me read this again. And those in the military-industrial deep state complex, I want you to understand that phrase. Look back on Eisenhower's exit speech and understand what he was talking about. They can begin building their new vacation homes. And oh, believe me, they will. And for all of them that believe that the climate change, the global climate change is going to put Florida underwater in 50 years or 20 years by 2050, and New York City, and yet all of these same people, where do they keep buying their vacation home property? Yeah, it's waterside, it's oceanfront. So maybe that's not going to happen. That maybe the loss of our liberties, the lack of control of our individual lives, our freedoms, maybe that's what it's all about. Lest we forget, as a senator and then as vice president, Biden played his part in getting Democratic support for the war on terror, the invasion of Iraq, and the other military misadventures of the last 25 plus years. He and the queen of the warmongers, Hillary Clinton, pushed the bombing of Libya and the war in Serbia before that. And now the liberal press says Biden is bringing professionalism back to the American foreign policy. Yes, he's replacing Trump's amateurish incompetence with seasoned war criminals and career cronies. The rascals are taking refuge in the nation's capital. Antony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Neera Tanden, and Michelle Flournoy. Smart scalawags, every one of them. Wasting no time, the retreads and has-beens from the Clinton and Obama days are back on the job, desperately trying to remain relevant and keeping the cash flowing by throwing their weight around. And then CNN reports about how the U.S. is deploying B-1 bombers to Norway to send a message to Russia. I'm going to pull away from the article, and I'm not going to be much longer, but let me just say this. Can you imagine a world, communism aside, the Soviet Union aside, can you imagine a world that after 1989, 90, 91, can you imagine a world of a strategic partnership between the United States of America and the country of Russia? Can you imagine a world? See, what they have to tell us is that those Russians, those dirty Russians, want to bridge our shores. They want to rape our women and kill our children. They want to dissolve us, to completely eliminate us from existence on that planet. That's what they keep telling us. So they take our tax dollars. They keep coming up with the next need. Northern Virginia continues to never have a recession. And we keep having debates about whether or not it's a Democrat or Republican in the White House. We keep having debates about whether or not the Democrats are looking out for the middle class, everyday wage earners of America, small business owners of America. We continue to have debates. There's no debate here. Our revolution, of the people, by the people, for the people. We are just getting started. We need to be united about the things that are most important. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A constitutional republic that was formed. Wealthy men gave up everything to create this country so that every one of the poorest of the poor people could have an unlimited ceiling. Not so that they could control anybody else. I thank you for spending time with me. Just got a chance to look at the James Detroit platform, the website. I like it. I appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you, Andrew. I really appreciate all the work that's going into that. We're going to have that up and running very, very soon. I'll attempt to take the library of things that we've put here on YouTube and transfer it over. And then maybe we still use this platform, maybe we don't. As I mentioned to you before, I do not want this to become an echo chamber, a vacuum of only progressive left thought. I want us, all of us, to be able to talk about what the truth is. Understanding what the truth is. In one week, the people that supposedly were elected to make policy decisions eliminated 11,000 jobs with the first stroke of the pen, and over the next 6 months, it's somewhere just below or just above 1 million jobs eliminated by saying, yep, no, Keystone XL pipeline, done. Not to mention the sovereignty of our nation, recognizing that and eliminating the ease for human trafficking to continue to bring and use other humans. These are the things that I want to make sure that for everybody that thinks the United States of America voted for, these people that are making these decisions, I want you to take a look at. Please look up, read the Time magazine article. You may or may not like Mike Lindell and My Pillow. I happen to love the pillow. I actually do. I have love in my heart for My Pillow. But the evidence is overwhelming. And yet, you're going to continue to tell me I need to get over it. Peacefully and patriotically, we are going to continue to fight this revolution in ways you never understood. Because at the local levels, we are going to be in every public square, and we are going to be making sure everybody understands. Because if you didn't realize what your local elected official voted for or against, you're about to realize. Because each and every one of us are going to be in the streets making sure that in the public square, and this is part of the public square, the truth is shared with others. That's what I'm trying to do. I appreciate your time. I appreciate, because your time is very, very valuable. And I appreciate your willingness to view this video and to share it with others. I am James Detroit, and for now, I'm out.